coming. It's the 2010 product overview slash conference that we have. Well, we have them every year, they're just not always called 2010. And the intention of today, this is our customer day, so we have partners with us and customers and some potential customers. The intention of today is to talk to you as customers and to just explain our positioning as a company. Some of you haven't heard what we do, so it'd be nice to basically get the big picture of what BlueBox is all about, and then at the same time to provide you with some nice drill downs into some of the new features that we've developed into our So I'll just kick off with some of the basics. You're going to find that I digress a lot. One of the things in Web 2 technologies, there's a thing called mashups. And so you're going to hear some interesting terminology. Let's start off with mashups, because hopefully my presentation will actually be a mashup. Carl will appreciate that because it means chaos. And so you may battle to follow all the threads, and in fact at the end you might scratch your head and say, what was that about? So I do apologize if that's the case. But a mashup is the ability to take a web platform or a web interface and to drag in the things that mean something to you. So I don't know if any of you use the iGoogle platform. I see one nod. Not many? Okay. If you go to Google, try and find a link somewhere to iGoogle, which is pretty much a personalized Google homepage. And what Google are pioneering with that homepage is the ability to mash up a whole collection of technologies. Welcome, Doc. Find a spot, eh? To be able to mash up a whole collection of technologies to make your Google base, basically. So you still get the little Google predictable search at the top, but for example, you'll plug in a map of your hometown, you'll plug in a little bit of weather because that's what you want, you'll plug in a news feed on Siamese cats, if that's flavor of the day for you, and you've pretty much created a dashboard for yourself. Now, what you'll pick up from this conversation is, or this presentation, is that I'm going to mash up as I go. So I'm going to start off with a digression, because that's what mashups are about. But at the end of the day, hopefully you'll be able to take little pieces from what I've told you and be able to put together a mashup of your own taste from what you've heard today about BlueBox. Your customers will, let me just make sure I get this right and I don't, that your customers will want to find information about things that interest them, and they will want to track that information. Okay, there's a trend in that direction. Now, you might not find applicability in your business. You may think, my customers are so not going to be tracking what I do. I sell cement, and how are they going to track that? But what I like about this process and digging up little mashable elements from the web is that you'll probably find a little gem of truth in that. So the concept of tracking and alerting, if you think about a news feed, for example, or a subscription that you might have on your desktop or something that you're following those Siamese cats, you're following the information on Siamese cat breeding. It's got nothing to do with your job, but you as a consumer have an interest in something and you're following it. Okay? Now the concept of tracking and alerting, I believe, applies to business, and it applies to any business. How are you going to push information to your customer base? How are you going to take the data that's sitting within your business in various elements? Might be a spreadsheet, might be an actual database, that would be great. And how are you going to make that information available to people who are looking for information? So one of the trends, people are moving out and they're starting to say, we want information on things. I'm not starting, they've been saying it for a long time, but it's definitely a trend. It's amazing how people get inventive in a recession. I just found that very inspirational. It's not necessarily going to affect you or your business, but again, look for the little gems. You know, what I hear there is that when times get tough, we make a plan. Okay. Now, sales pitch coming. You take what you have, the resources that you have, and you do something with it. You could take a business system, and you could start to get creative about how you're communicating with people. Go and eke out a new way of making a new market. You don't have to be booted to go and do that. The guy who actually started this thing called Lemonade, it's worth going and having a squiz. It's a whole movie and blah, blah, blah. You can buy the book and blah, blah, blah. He went and started a thing called Feed the Animals. Please feed the animals. That was his website. And it was a outsourced recruiting facility for the ad agency execs that had all been fired, basically. And once he had started this thing, a couple of them said, hey, let's make a movie about this. Let's talk about how you make a go of, basically how you make lemonade out of lemons, you know, in the hard times. So I know it might sound a little bit gloomy, and I hope that's not the message you're getting. I believe that it's a little ringing bell that says, take what you've got and make a good go of it. Take the platform that you're working on and get creative. Don't become complacent. Don't just sit there and go to your 8 to 5. Try and eke out something out of the platform that you're working on. And it doesn't have to be BlueBox. It can just be the normal business system that you're running, or the business processes that you run. So this not necessarily relating to systems.